Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here and now. Before I do begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku. We also had his current situation. He's trying to take Pyra on a date. However, Oliver told him about the best possible place he could probably take her. The most beautiful place potentially in the world. And that would be the Elven City that is their capital. They've got tons of shops, magical items, and great restaurants. People call it a city of love. And that, Deku, yeah. Considering what they've been through in the last 2 months, he believes that that's the best place to take her. And, well, yeah. There's one problem. It's about 2-3 weeks away from carriage or horse. And right now, he's trying to collect the ingredients he needs for a teleportation circle. However, after stopping by his shop, getting his armor repaired, and even helping an old woman pick a gift for her granddaughter so she could get her a gift, yeah, things are a little difficult. Deku helped out that woman because she was blind and she didn't have any money. And Izuku, he even stopped by an alchemist's shop. The man had a few ingredients. However, he told Deku, looking over at the guild, might help give him a better avenue of search. And Izuku, yeah, he tried that. He was out trying to gather the resources. However, Atrig halted his search. He heard about what happened, and he wanted to speak to this young man for a few reasons. He teleported them to a tea shop nearby the Elven Kingdom, and the two chatted. The man was quite simple with what he wanted. He told Deku about a few other things as well. His daughter needs a lesson in humility. Yes, she is half dragon. They are powerful creatures. He is ancient, powerful, and strong. And while he only does know 2 living humans he does respect, his old friend Russo is the only human he would call an equal. And that man showed him much within the last couple decades of their friendship. But Izuku, yeah, he kind of reminds him of him. He's got a heart in the right place, and he wants to do the right thing. But he's going about it the wrong way. He already told Theodore how to fix Deku's training problem. And he even told Deku himself that if his daughter is going to be traveling with a hero and getting put into danger, there needs to be a way out. If anything happens to Indra, he will personally hunt down Izuku. And if a god tries to smite him, they're going to have to give it their best shot, since he will not stop if his daughter dies. And he gave Izuku 3 teleportation circles, and one of them was for emergency use only. And Izuku was teleported back to Granola, landing in a fountain where he had a lot to get sorted out. And we do have right now. It's been a day. And Deku, he's already informed the king and his mentor about the situation. Theodore, yeah. The idea that Deku is going to go to the Elven Kingdom, it's a surprise. The fact that he meant his mentor was a bigger one. The two chatted about what will happen. And whenever he does get back, they do want to specialize a bit more in his training. Since while he is doing good in certain aspects, he needs to focus primarily on an element to master. And he believes he has the best one to pick. Now, the king, however, is still a little apprehensive about letting Deku go. But the idea that this isn't going to be a 2-month journey there, spending some time there and back, made it easier on him. He knows how to get a hold of and contacting Deku using the magic crystal. So if he does need him to come running, then he can call him. Hopefully, though, it won't go to that. And right now, Deku, yeah, he spent the rest of the day trying to go over things with Oliver. And how exactly to surprise Pyra with this. And Oliver Deku did talk to Pyra later. He made things quite simple. Dress in her nicest clothes she can, and meet him in the courtyard. Then they'll leave for their date. And she was quite happy about this. And there currently is Deku. He does sit there on the step looking out into the training area. The place he's been spending a lot of time these last couple months. He's a little nervous. Intrigued? There's so much that will happen. He's got his hair combed back, some, I guess you could call it hair gel. He's not exactly too sure what it is, but it makes his hair a little shinier and, well, the wind shouldn't get in his way. Then on his mind, Deku holding the long braid of his hair that does have two of the beads showing his achievement. So rolling them in his hand and trying to think. Messing with his long strand as he does go to let it go, hearing Pyra walk up, turning his head and seeing her. Right now she does have some leather shoes, which are polished and shine, as she also does wear a nice simple dress. Deku seeing that she does have a bag on her arm, and this, it does only intrigue him. Right now him with a smile. Standing up as himself, he does have some strange looking clothes to him, though he was told that they're more formal in attire, at least by Lillian, and that was kind of a big help. He doesn't want to look out of place in that city. And Pyra, when she does get to see him, she has a smile, walking up and asking about exactly where they're going to be going, since she feels like she didn't dress up enough. No, you're fine. You look great. Though, I have a question. Okay. Where exactly are you from? What do you mean? I know you're not from Granola. I mean, I talked to Oliver about a few things, and your family's more by Amacera, right? Amacera, not Amacera. Right, sorry. My family lives in a small town nearby. It's not that far away. But why are you asking? What if I told you I had a way for us to get to Amsera right now? I'd ask why? I haven't exactly been back to that city in a while. But it's a good city. Wait, is that where you want to go? Deku gonna smile. Before he has talk about it, pulling one of the sigils, one of the papers out of his pocket, talking about it, turning and going to hold it up, as he does go to focus on it and pour magic into it. And when the paper does begin to heat, Deku, he does go to throw it forwards. It going to burn as the symbols do begin to form in the air. Them going to light up on the ground as Deku does reach out his hand, grabbing her arm as she does go to step forwards with him. And the two do just stand there. Deku talking about it. Focus on the location and they'll get there. He's got a place in mind. Amacera. Deku going to look at her. And she has a smile. Before she has to say in the Elven tongue the correct phrase. Amsera. And the two, they do to disappear in a bright flash. Right now, them going to reappear as Deku, he does go look around. And he's quite alarmed. They're standing in a field. It's beautiful. They're right by a road and wow. They didn't end up in the tea shop like you thought. They must be around that town. Come on. Deku turning. Him gonna see a village in the distance. As he does, gonna turn his head a little bit more to the left. And his eyes, they do immediately catch on the tree that does stand there, staring at it. His head careening back and seeing it in the distance. It's towering, massive. That thing's gotta be bigger than a mushroom cloud. I mean, that's impossible. It's gotta be 500. No, that thing looks like Mount Everest from here. A mountain itself. And she says, "Someone walk over, bring her hand up, and gonna playfully put it to his chest, asking if it's a lot." Huh? I'm sorry. That's Sarah. Yes, the tree was there for a long time. It was planted the day the civilization was put there, magically enhanced. No one remembers who planted it, but there's a story behind it. The day the civilization truly began. I'll bore you with it. Though, before we go, let's stop by the village. I want to say hi to my folks. If that's okay? It's fine. Though, how far away are we from here? Oh, we should be a few miles walk. It shouldn't be that bad. Though, I might be able to get my father to lend us a horse. I think I can handle that. Her gonna smile, as Deku, him and her, do to walk towards the village. And right now, people, they are running around. Some going about their days, as Deku does see the farms being tended to. Him seeing a massive dirt golem walking around and turning its head, looking around as it does to walk over. Right now, Deku going to walk by it as she does get a comment on it. People do tend to use magic here, so don't be surprised if some things are a little bit more simple than in a human town. Him understanding. As one of her two kids do come running down the road, Deku does a turn, seeing as a group of them do come running by in front of them. And he doesn't notice that many of them are all elvish, seeing one human as they do get a turn. One of them waving their hand out and yelling out for Pyra. Deku turning his head and seeing that. 2 other kids do come running up. And they do to comment on her. She does a wave. As Deku, him and her do go walking over. And Pyra, she does gonna lead them back to their old home. Right now, Deku going to see as the door does open and a man does come stepping out. Him quite alarmed as he has to stare at his daughter. Him gonna give a gentle smile and asking what she's doing home so soon. Hi, it's a long story. This is Izuku. We were heading to Sarah. Really? That's a surprise. Though, what about your sister? Ely's not back yet? No, we believe she's still on the road. Haven't heard back from her in some time, and that girl's starting to concern me. Deku turning his head, as a woman with blonde hair does come stepping into the door frame. Deku, a little alarmed since she looks almost like Pyra. And she does get a comment on it, stepping forwards and immediately wrapping her daughter into a hug. Before she to turn and go to bring her hand on to Deku's chest, asking if she's finally brought a boy home. And she does also have her face turn red, and commenting that this is Izuku. Oh, hello there. I hope that you are treating her with some respect. I plan to, and I have been. It's a long story, but we've known each other for a while. Have you now? You're human. Deku saying in Elvish. That might be true, but it's a little bit more complicated. and the two do go to stare at him before the man does his own smile a little bit and say something back, telling him he might be human but don't underestimate elves. To which Deku would say he never would, and the man is a smile a little wider, knowing that if that was a planned phrase, well, this kid's smarter than he thinks. However, he doesn't shake Deku's hand, noticing the scar on his lip, and when he does a shake, noticing the grip on him, asking exactly if he's an adventurer. To which Deku would go to bring his hand up, and Pyra, she would get a comment that he's actually the hero of Granala. To which the two do go to stare at him, and he would go to bring his hands up and express, "It's okay." He figured that would be their reaction. "You're the hero." I would have expected him to be older. I would have too. You're just a young boy. He's stronger than he looks, Dad. He killed a vampire. You killed a vampire? That is no easy feat. I know. Long story. It really is. Though, I've only been in your guys' world for a few months. Months? I see. Well then. How about we leave these two alone? Hey, I'm gonna turn. As someone, they do come walking up asking if that's Pyra. And Deku does a turn, seeing a young elf man who does come stepping up. The man a bit taller than him, however, he does look a bit broader than him. Him walking over and gonna wave up, since his hands, they are dirty from a bit of farm work, telling the two that it's nice to see him. Though he would have expected Ely to be back before her. Didn't she leave for a life of adventure? And she does get a wave off her brother, her introducing her older brother to Deku, who does go to wave. And the guy, he does get Deku a little skeptical, before saying something in Elvish, to which Deku would reply back to. Now, Pyra, she does offer that the two can come back and stay for a little bit of time. However, things are a little complicated in Granala right now. So, they've kinda gotta speed things up. Maybe one day she can properly come home and spend some time back home. She's got a few stories to tell and she's sure her siblings would like to hear them. Her mother nodding, as her father, he does get to pull his daughter into a hug. Him going to talk about how next time it'd be nice for them to all properly have a chat and sit down, since it's been a long time. Now, the two, they do go to a step away, and Pyra, she does try to keep her mind on what they're trying to do. Though Deku, he does get to bring his hands up, commenting on it, as he has to pick Pyra up and she does go to have her face turn a bit red. Him flying up into the air and towards Emsera, and she does try to talk to him. Now, Deku, he was a little surprised, and while that brief meeting was interesting, he does ask her if maybe she'd want to try and spend time at home after they leave the city, to which she does try to tell him it's more complicated than that. A lot of things happen and, well, her and her family didn't exactly part on neutral terms. Really? Yeah, it's a story. There's a few people I know who they may not be happy to see me. Though I doubt they're still in the city. Her smiling, though Deku, he can read the emotion behind that smile. And it does make him raise a few more questions. Though, he's going to take a page from Oliver. Know when not to talk and know when to. Him nodding silently as the two, they do get to the city. However, him and her do to land properly they do to see a lot of things. The city is full and bustling with magic. Deku sees large shops, large cities, different lights going around. Hell, there are some giant creatures flying around the city. Deku turning his head and seeing a literal magic carpet, along with a woman on a broom who does a flyover. And this, it does kind of intrigue him. Deku seeing a massive bird fly overhead, and that, it does get his attention, turning and going to look. As I turn his head and see a ton of different people. Right now, many of them are making their way around and just trying to go about their normal lives. And Deku, he does still look up, seeing a lot of different things flying around through the air. And this, it does keep his attention. Before Pyra does a bring her hand up and try to tell him, it'll be like that for a minute. It'll take some time to get used to. That's incredible. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're fine. Trust me, it's like that the first time you always see the city. So, where did you want to go? That's up to you. I know about this restaurant Oliver told me about. He told me about this really cool thing they do there, and, well, how about later? Fine. We can look around some of the shops. I know there's this really cool place I wanted to go to. And if we're here, then I know this really good shop. They've always got these magical items, but they could be a little expensive. Deku nodding his head. And the two do make their way down the road. Now, Izuku, he does see a lot of shops, along with even seeing some dwarves forging on anvils. Deku going to hear the clinking of that metal as he turns his head. Him surprised to see as a giant golem does stand there, it looking more human-like. And it does go to pound into the metal with one of its arms, it slamming down with its fist as Deku does go to stare on. And the creature, it does go to turn its head, before it does go to reach back into the forge and pull something else out. Deku staring at that and going to somewhat wince, as he is led along by Pyra. Now, the two do step into a giant store, and he does a look around, realizing that this place, it's probably about 3 or 4 times as big as the last store he went to in Granola. I mean, it's huge. It's almost like a giant store. Deku gonna look around, and Pyra, she does talk about a few things. Right now, her walking past a barrel full of swords and going to pick up one of the magical items that she is going to see. Her commenting on it, holding up an amulet, talking about how this does look pretty cool. Her turning her head, as Deku, he does to walk over and turn, going to bring his hand up and grab a mask he does to see, staring at it as it does look strange. It's carved out of wood, and on the inside it has symbols carved in it. No, these are runes. Okay, but what exactly does it do? Deku brings it up to his face, and Pyra does a turn, commenting on it. Oh, look at this. There's this ring that allows you to... Izuku? Deku pulling the mask off, as he has a stare at it, and she just won't jump, letting out a eep sound. And Deku does a turn, so laughing a bit, talking about it. This mask makes you invisible? That's incredible. But what about the other ones? Deku turning, and going to see that there are a few here. Though he does go to look at the writing in front of the mask setup, and it does talk about it. There's mask for invisibility, true sight, dark vision, a ton of other things. There's even one that will allow you to track mana flow, and these do intrigue Deku. Him turning back to Pyra as she does comment on a few things, holding up some gloves, talking about them. and he does go to listen. Her going to bring her hand up and spark a flame in her finger. It about the size of a lighter. Now, Deku does a stare at that, asking if she does know fire magic, to which she does a slightly nod, talking about how it's her weakest element, though she does prefer the wind. And he does a somewhat smile. Her walking over as Deku, he does a stare at a few things. Some of the items here are enchanted, some are not, and the shopkeeper, at least one of the members of the staff, they do just stare at these too. As there is where Pyra, she does go to hold up a bow, commenting on exactly what it might be able to do. Her going to pull back the string as the person is to walk over. Them going to express, telling her not to draw the bow, and just a turn, pulling it back quickly as it does require a little bit more force and try not to make the string snap forwards. Then I'm going to tell the two. A lot of these items in here are magical, and they would not like them to mess with the products. They could damage things. Deku bringing his hand up, expressing about how he does understand. And someone did come flying down from the second floor. Deku looking up and seeing them on a magic broom. One that looks similar. Why has he seen a broom like that before? Him going to stare on. As the person, they do to talk about it. You know, they really should keep things simple. They want to turn to their colleague, expressing, it's quite apparent that these two are on a date. So, for right now, she suggests that they move along, be careful about the magical items, and maybe put down the bow. Oh, but this bow has a wind affinity. How much is it? It's about 5 gold. 5 gold? Yes. Though we do have other bows. That one's a little lighter on draw. I know. That was why. Never mind. Her turning, aware that that is not a cheap price. And Deku does get a watch as she's going to talk about it. As she's going to go look at some of the other items. Do they have, well, magical rings are over there, our wider selections over there, and other scrolls and possibly even books are over there. You guys have grimoires here? We don't have large ones. Many people come in and usually pick them up. And anything that could be noteworthy usually goes to the palace. I see. But you guys are funded for it, right? Or they pay for it? Or compensated generously. Though, that's another story entirely. Our selection's small, but not mighty. Magic is everywhere. I see. Deku bringing his hand up and going to open his hand as 5 gold coins are in his palm. And the person does stare at him, them expressing a merchant's skill. You could say that. I'd like the bow. Them nodding their head as Deku does to take it off the wall again. Him going to put it in his inventory as does it disappear from his hand, talking about it. And that should be a good gift. So, you're going after a hunter? Yes. I probably should go find her. Actually, I would like to see some of these grimoires. Deku walking away, and the person, they do get a turn. Quite intrigued, as they bring their hand up to their mask, thinking about what they should say to Pyra. And right now the two, they do somewhat talk about a few of these things. There's smaller grimoires for wind. There's some for ice. But the one Deku does have is more potent whenever it does come to certain spells. though he does get to see a few for flame and other elemental types. Deku even seeing one that could be useful, though he's not focusing on that right now. Him gonna smile as the two they do to leave the shop. Pyra buying a few things of her own, as Deku, he already did buy one gift, though Pyra, she did see him buy another one. Him quite happy with his purchase. Now, the two, they do go to leave. Right now, walking down the road as they're talking about a few things. Him still a little intrigued about the magic he saw on display. I mean, magic brooms, magic potions, magic books. There was a spell in one of those books that were so strange. I mean, he might be able to mess around with it and change it for an ice spell, but it could do a lot. There's even scrolls on combat styles. And there are. Though there's also scrolls that can let you learn skills immediately. That's incredible. It is, but they're more expensive. I've heard that a skill, it can go for a lot of money. A skill? That's what it's called. Well, it's called that because of a few reasons. Deku intrigued. Surprised? A skill. Him turning his head and looking up, reading a sign and seeing that the restaurant, it should be here. And the two, they do go stepping in. Right now, Deku, quite happy whenever he does a step inside and see that there's not a lot of people here yet. And the person, they do turn looking directly at Deku. Him going to bring his hand up and express, saying in Elvish about how the two would like a table. And the man has a look at Deku, turning to Pyra and looking back. Before he does go to nod, seeing the amulet Deku does somewhat wear. Him going to turn his head and motion into the restaurant. As the two do sit down, the man eyeing Deku and Pyra as he does a set down a menu and the letters do begin to glow. Him quite alarmed as he does to see that. And Pyra, she has to stare at the prices she does to see for some stuff. This place is fancy and nice. But, yeah, they're not paying silver here or copper. They're paying gold. And that the man does take notice of, asking if the two might like to leave. And Deku does it to wave it off, commenting on it. It's fine. He just wasn't expecting this menu to glow. It's incredible. Do you know what you're gonna order? Oh, sorry. I'm not sure. There's so much on here. How about the fire roasted grim porcupine? Excellent choice. And a drink? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll have something simple. A water? No, her looking at the menu. Before she's a point at it and talk about it. A pineberry brew? I see. And for you? I'll take the fire grilled salamander. Alrighty. And for your drink? Same thing. It's fine. The man gonna take the menus as he do a fly through the air, landing in his hand and going to somewhat leave behind a little magical trail. The two staring at that as the man does get a smile. And he does a turn, walking away, as Deku and Pyra are talking about a few things. He still can't believe that they went to her village. Yeah. So, you said you didn't leave things off on the best of terms. I didn't. I mean, I wanted to see the world. My parents are still trying to deal with a few things at home, and my family is just large. I could tell. I thought you just had the one sister. I've got a few. And my brother, he's a lot like my dad. He seemed nice enough. They are, but it's taken a while for him to not be so overbearing. He's got my best interest in heart, I know. But still, I mean, look at me. I'm sitting here, I'm okay, and everything's fine. I've been on many adventures and I've survived. Yeah, I know. How are you doing after Stonefen, though? What do you mean? Pirate, you were bitten by a vampire. I mean, hell, it was crazy. I could ask you the same thing. You lost your hand, but look at you. You're still in one piece and together. Fair enough, I guess. Though, it was still a little crazy. Oh no, it was insane. Though the Winter Shogun. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure about it. I mean, there's still so much to know, and with what I learned from that shaman, my abilities are developing fine. There's still a lot of things I need to learn, a lot of spells I need to figure out. I think you'll do fine. Deku's smiling as he does reach his hand out, and she does go to reach her hand out and grab his. The two talking about a few more things. Deku, he does even talk a little bit about home, what exactly Earth is like. Whenever Pyra does ask him about it, and he does seem a little bit more intrigued, talking about cars, talking about what a movie is. I mean, whenever you call somebody on the crystal, contact them, it's like that. You get to see a visual of what's going on around them. You get to see behind them, or, well, that's kind of like a movie, I guess, but you would be the camera. And then you'd explain what one of those was. And she just felt intrigued about it. Her sitting there on the edge of her seat listening to him talk. And eventually their food did arrive. Deku going to take a sip of his drink as he does someone stare at it. Him going to see the way it does strangely bubble. One of the bubbles floating upwards into the air and going to pop. It letting off a brilliant green glow. And that, it does catch his attention. Him taking another sip as Pyra does do the same thing. Deku opening his mouth to speak as a green mist does go to blow out of his mouth, along with a bubble that does float through the air. Pyra going to open her mouth and go to blow out a little bit of air, trying to quote-unquote breathe fire like a dragon. And Deku just watch a small stream of bubbles go floating out. Him staring at that as she's going to cover her mouth trying not to laugh. And the two, they do begin to eat. Deku going to cut into the meat as he's a look at Pyra's food. Her pulling up a toothpick that does have a piece of meat on it. And the two, they are having a bit of fun. They're having a nice time. And it feels peaceful. When they head back to her village or leave here, then he can give her the bow. He already did buy that other thing for her. Though, she doesn't know what's in that bag. Lucky he has his inventory. Then on his mind. Him, quite intrigued, about what to say next. Though Pyra, she does go to sit there, quite happy and munching on her food. Deku looking at the way her ears do somewhat begin to wiggle around the tips. Him staring at that as he is a turn looking out the window. Still just intrigued. Home. He thinks about it from time to time. But that is a good question. What's going on back at home? No, he should shut that down, let him thinking down. He'll see his mother again. He's sure of it. The two will meet, they'll talk, they'll chat. He'll tell her all about his crazy adventures and how he saved another world. How he became a hero. One even better than All Might. Those shoes are getting bigger to fill. Izuku? Sorry. Just all this talk of home. It's got me a little nostalgic. I understand. Sorry, take your time? No, it's fine. I like this moment right now. Deku's one squeezing her hand, and the two do get a smile. As Deku, he does that turn. Right now, the waiter coming to walk up as he has a stare at their plates. His eyes gonna glow before he asks the two exactly if they're done with their meals. To which the two turn looking at each other. Pyra looking at her food as she does wipe her mouth. And Deku, he has looked down at the rest of his meal. Him talking about it. It was quite good. But is something going on? Yes, we are going to be having a dessert. And I would like to ask exactly what you might be picking? Him holding out a menu. As the words do begin to fly off the paper and people at other tables do begin to watch on. Them staring at a lot of things. Izuku, he does get to see a lot. There's so much. These words are literally flying off the pages. Deku turning his head, watching as Chimera Sorbet does get a fly past his left shoulder. It going to run along with a list of ingredients. Deku watching as one does a fly in front of him and he doesn't make out the word Kelpie. Him going to turn his head and see on his right as he doesn't see the word Dragon Sorbet. Him going to blink before he's going to turn his head a bit more and see the words go to fly towards his left and spell out in a different way, Dragon Sunday. This alarming him. Him turning to Pyra and seeing that she's dealing with the same situation. Her looking everywhere and trying to see what's going on. And the man, whenever Deku does a turn back, he is smiling. Him going to nod his head slightly before asking if they'll pick a course. They do have a specialized selection as well. Though, it will take a minute. Deku understanding. Seeing as brulee is one of the words he does at a catch, whenever something is flying past him. And Deku, he does talk about that one. The man nodding his head as Pyra does make the same selection. The man clapping his hands and smiling. Turning, as many of the other guests, they are making other selections. And Deku, he does turn his head, realizing that the same man at their table is at the other table. And the other table. Wait a second. The waiter, he's in 5 places at once. That catching him off guard. And the man, he does go to walk back towards the kitchen as he does go to make his way back. And Izuku does turn to Pyra, and she does get a smile, since she's surprised it took him that long to notice. And people, they do come stepping out. Right now, them with a lot of different things on a tray. As Deku, he has to see something fly across the room and go to land at a table. turning his head as one, does a fly over and land directly on their table. Turning his head, his eyes go wide. Pyra looking down to her left and seeing a dragon, the size of a house cat, sitting at the edge of their table. Deku staring at it. It going to expand out its wings as it does a yawn. Deku staring on and turning his head. For turning his head and seeing others flying around the room. And whenever the chef does go to announce what they're doing, there is where one, it does a turn. It going to leap onto the shoulder of the person who has handled these beasts better. Right of them going to walk over as the dragon, it does begin to blast fire directly at the top of the brulee. In this, it does surprise Deku. As is a turn and watch someone walk over to their table. And the dragon, it does a turn itself. Deku looking at the little creature and noticing something different. Others flew around tables. This one didn't. Is something wrong with it? Deku using detect magic, staring at the creature and trying to get a read on it. Its magic is low. It's almost like a sickness. No, it's tired, isn't it? Deku turning, looking at the other tables and seeing the other dragons are emitting magic. And whenever someone does come walking over to their table, Deku, he does go to watch the dragon go to climb up onto their shoulder. Though whenever it does go to take a breath in and blast out fire, it does blast out way too much. It going to smash into the table as Pyra does let a small yelp. And the dragon, it does go to cough out before the person, they do take a step backwards. And Deku, he does a turn, bringing his hand up and waving off the damage with ice magic. As the person, they do get a turn. Right now someone running over and yelling about what happened. Apologizing to Deku and Pyra as the person, they do go to turn to the dragon. And it does go to lay there on their shoulder as it does go to cough out smoke. And Deku, he does go to jump up. The person saying something in Elvish, not realizing that Deku can understand them. And he does go to comment on it, asking if the creature's okay. The person turning to Deku and talking about it. The beast is fine. Pseudo-dragons are known for their abilities. But this is unprecedented. Is it alright? Can it do the job? I don't understand. We've been taking care of them, but this one has been acting off. I see. Deku going to step forwards, talking about it. Something's wrong with its magic. What do you mean? Do you guys have detect magic? Can you sense it? The man turning, going to stare at the dragon before his eyes do to squint, seeing the same problem Deku does. And Izuku, he does do one thing. Walking back over to his table and turning, going to grab his empty glass as he is at grab something from his inventory, pulling out a potion as he is to pour it directly into the cup and then going to bring his hand up, pulling out some wyvern jerky, going to dip it into the cup before he's to pull it out, walking back over to the dragon and offering it to the creature, talking about it. He's heard of it before. It might just be tired. The beast turning to Deku and giving it a whiff, before it does go to bite into the jerky and go to begin snacking on this treat. And Deku, he does watch the man turn to look at Deku, a little surprised, since that is a new one. And the creature, whenever it does go to breathe fire again, it does let out a blue flame. Right now it going to turn to look at the person and let out a chirping noise to them. The person looking back at Deku and asking, exactly what was that? Oh, it's fine. It was a mana potion. It was a pretty strong one at that, so hopefully that does help the problem. Then again, I don't really know much about dragons. They're made of magic. That's kind of what I know about the big ones. Huh. Alright. The person turning and giving a look to the waiter. And Deku, he does see that that one is a little bit more accusing. And this does slightly concern him. Before the pseudo dragon, it does go leaping forwards and directly onto Deku's shoulder, curling around his neck as the person they do turn looking back at the dragon. Them a little surprised as Deku, he does get to sit there. Him hearing it make a keening sound as he does go to somewhat laugh. And the person is a step forwards, trying to reach out for the dragon as they do go to look at the beast, it raising its head and going to let out a small flame. Deku going to bring his hand up and pull the creature off, though it does go to cling onto his arm as it does make its way down onto the table, sitting down as the person does comment on it. Seriously, it's gonna be alright. Things are okay now. Deku looking at the person, before they look back at the dragon. I know, it wasn't our fault. Are you alright? Though, you should be careful with that. Deku turning back as he does go to stare at the person. And Pyra does get a small giggle as the dragon is turned to her, letting out a chirping noise before walking over and going to blast a small flame directly on to the dessert she had. Her staring at that before the creature does make its way back over to Deku, doing the same thing as the turn to his mug. It grabbing the mug and going to drink the rest of the mana potion he put inside the glass. The glass. Now, Deku, he does stare at that. And the waiter, he does go to comment on the dessert being free. Though, that particular dragon's a little bit more headstrong and rowdy. If they would like to, they can take it with them. Excuse me? Yes. The person who was just here was a tamer. They handle these creatures and we do pay them quite well. Along with that, they do work with other positions, but they've said it best themselves. That one has been out the door for some time. They're free range. They're allowed to go and leave. We take good care of them when we can, and it does seem like that one wants to leave. Though it is, I guess, for the best. And this is another incident that I don't think our restaurant can afford. Your dessert is free, but the rest of the meal will be about 10 gold. Oh, okay. Deku reaching into his pocket, for he does go to pull out the gold and going to hand it over to the man. The man going to count the gold and stare at it. Before the dragon does go leaping up onto Deku's shoulder, and the man does go wave them off, bowing and thanking them for dining with them today. And the two do go to leave. Deku is still a little surprised. Pyra commenting on it as the two are walking down the road about that whole situation. And Izuku, he's a little surprised too, since apparently someone missed the mark on dragons. And right now the two are a bit happy. Pyra giving him a smile as they're making their way down the road, though someone does it to call out. Pyra? Her going to freeze and going to close her eyes. And Deku does get a turn, seeing a group of people. As someone else does to say it, that is her. Holy cow, why is she here? Them beginning to walk up, and one does comment on it. She's with a human. Her gonna open her eyes and express. They're leaving. Besides, they just had a nice meal and they're ruining this. Oh, is this a date? Look at that. Pyra's on a date. Deku looking at the group. There's 3 female elves and 2 male. Though one of them, they're a dark elf. That's interesting. Deku turning to them. The woman looking back at Deku asking if he does have a problem. No. You're a dark elf, aren't you? Yes. And why is that a problem? It isn't. I've never seen a dark elf before. Have you not? So you have not been in this city for long. What type of human did you pick, Pyra? In Amsera, we are quite fruitful. Though, look at you. The woman stepping forwards and going to bring her hands up onto Deku's shoulders. The dragon going to let out each sound that does try to be intimidating. And the person, they do to comment on it, bring their hand to the dragon as it does go to have fire being to pour from the side of its mouth. Them talking about it. Pyra picked an interesting one. Are you a tamer? No, it's a long story. Her going to step forwards again as Pyra does go to bring her hand up, pushing the girl away, talking about it. Leave him alone. And one of the guys do get to step forwards, talking about how, come on, it's not that bad. What's she gonna do, cry? In this, it does annoy Deku. This time him stepping forwards, asking exactly who the hell are they? And if that guy's gonna talk like that, then they're gonna have a problem. All eyes on Deku, as the guy talks about it. Oh, he knows Pyra. In fact, a few of them were in the same party before. And she was a failure. She messed up a lot of things. Hell, she got a friend of his killed. She ever talk about that? That wasn't my fault. Oh, was it not? Gee, I wonder what his mom thinks. Pyra, I made things clear. I never wanted to see you again. So why did you stop us? Simple. The idea that someone's actually willing to lower their standards and date you? That is more surprising than anything. Though this guy. Deku seeing when the other elven woman begin to step forwards. Him feeling some strange sensation in his mind. Aware that there's magic involved in this. And he does go to bring his hand up and talk about it. Nope. They're not using magic on his head. Stop. And people, they do begin to stare at this crowd. As right now, one of the guys does talk about it. The other stepping forwards about how, what's he gonna do? He's a human. He can't take one of them. And Pyra does a bring her hand up talking about it. They should go. Deku going to tell the dragon to go to Pyra. It going to let out a sound and going to fly over to her shoulder. Her turning her head as the cat-like creature does go to somewhat sit there and go to stare. Deku looking at the elves and talking about it. They clearly don't know who they're dealing with. And you don't know who you're dealing with, human. Now, if you're going to let that quarter blood boss you around and do what you want, well, fight us. Come on. Or are you going to let your little elven bitch decide for you? Deku's staring the man down. And the moment he said that word, yeah. Deku definitely just felt his fist tighten. And he talks about it. He'll take both of them on. Without blades and magic. How about that? He seriously wants to challenge you both in magic? He's a mage. Yeah, so am I. I know a bit about magic. 1 on 2. How about that? And the group, they do somewhat start to laugh. Though they do agree. The guy's talking about it. Come on. He knows a place. Nizuku, he does begin to follow. Pyra getting a bit of crap from the other girls in the group. And the guys, when they do arrive in an open area, Deku does get to see right now where they're at. It's a park. It's large. And looking up from here, they're barely in the shade of that giant tree. One of those branches has those thick leaves that block out the area a little bit. It's nice and there's a cool breeze. The guys going to shed their shirts and talk about it. They'd rather not smudge their clothes. So yeah, they'll handle things here. How does he want to fight? With magic? Technique or what? Does he think he can take them on in a straight brawl? Deku looking at the two, who easily outweigh him. They're larger for elves. Clearly there's something else there. Maybe giant blood? Or Colossus blood? He's not sure. Though these two, he's definitely going to enjoy this. And he does going to talk about it. We're now Deku pulling his shirt and going to drop it to the ground. And the girls who were somewhat talking a little bit of crap and laughing do fall silent, as the two guys stare at that scar on Deku's chest, looking down to the one that's even more concerning. Before one of them does talk about it. Is that a bullshit? You planned that out, didn't you? Using an illusion for that? There's no way you killed a dragon. You're right. Deku bring his hands up. I killed a wyvern. I've been told it was tougher than normal wyvern, though its mutation was unique. Poisonous. Not a real dragon at all. Though I did still drive a spear through its skull and get a lot of money for it. Deku talking, asking exactly how much magic do they want him to use. And the two do stare at him. The amulet around his neck, it's cursed. They can detect that. Though right now, they still are staring at him, not sure what to really even do. I mean, the idea that magic, it is what it is, then they've got a real problem here. There is simply no way for them to win. They've done reckless and dangerous things, but the idea that this guy's done something just as reckless, if not more, might put them on the back foot. And Deku does get a hold of his hands. He'll use one form of magic against them. Seriously? You're that cocky? Think that you can beat us with one? I'm pretty good at it. I've had a lot of ideas recently, and I'll go to test some of them out. Though, how many magic types do you guys have? I've got 8. I'm gonna smile. And the two do stare at him. One well aware that he's probably bluffing, and the other a bit more skeptical on that. And the girls do fall silent, as Pyra does tell them she'd like them all to meet her boyfriend. The hero of Granola is Suku. Her smiling wide and staring at the three. And the dark elf, she does still stare on a little skeptical, as right now the two oafs do to rush Deku, one blasting out fire and one blasting out wind. And Deku, he has got to bring his hand up, him waving ice in front of him and creating a barrier. As whenever the fire does a clash against it, he does go to drop the barrier and bring his hand up. Him going to step forwards as he does going to create pencil-like shards in his fingertips. Him going to throw them out and blast out towards the two. One taking a shot to the shoulder as his arm does immediately begin to get covered in ice. Deku rushing forwards as the other guy, he does a step in. Him going to throw his hand up and go to try to attack. And Deku, he doesn't do one thing. He does go to throw his hand down and go to slap it down. His arm being covered in ice as Deku, he has to throw his hand up. Him dodging the winded punch that is thrown at him. For he does go to throw his hand out and forward. Him covering the guy in ice and blasting him backwards. Him blasting backwards as Deku, he does go to bring up his hands. The second guy who does go to step forwards, he does go to bring his hands up and ready. Him going to ignite his body with flames and talking about it. He's not going to fall for that. Besides, their elements are opposite. Maybe, but how powerful is your element? Deku focusing. Going to begin to pour the magical energy around the man. Focusing on what he does think. Magic is power, and power relies on influence. Imagination is power. And that thought, it does allow Deku to manifest the ice chains around the man. Them going to bind his hands together and pull forwards. As Deku goes to rip the man off the ground, and the guy, he does have his legs pulled together. For he's wrapped in chains, and he does begin to freeze. Right now, him going to blow out ice breath and going to talk about it. He gives. And Deku does go to stare at that, turning to the guy on the ground and going to bring his hand up. Before he does a blast of flames directly at the guy, and the ice does begin to melt. And the other guy, when he is released from the magical chains, he does go to fall forwards to the ground, shivering. And that, it does mean quite a bit. As Deku just talk about it. Okay, he just started getting serious, too. I mean, that wasn't much of a spar. Stepping forwards, crossing his arms and tying the two. He had a harder time at Stonefen than that. You were at Stonefen? Yep. Now, we're gonna go. Deku gonna turn, walking back over to grab his shirt. Though someone, they do to run out to stop him. Deku looking up as a bird does go land directly on his shoulder. Turning his head to look at it before turning to a group of royal guards. Okay, this is bad. Deku going to bring his hand down and grab his shirt before the bird does a fly back over to somebody, and he does go to put it back on. As the person does come stepping forwards with the bird on their hand, asking him exactly if he's the one this bird found. If he is the hero of Granala. Yes, my name is Izuku. You speak the Elvish tongue. That does make this easier. The person going to fall to a knees the rest of the army does get a fall as well. Deku staring at his squadron of about 10, 20 guards. And they do go to tell him their king is requesting an audience. It is urgent. And Deku, he does understand. Talking about how he can meet with the king. Though, him turning to Pyra. Talking about how he does have someone with him, if that's alright. And the person, they do nod their head. Talking about how this matter needs immediate resolve. Since something has not happened, well, something is finally happening. And he might be the cause of it. That making Deku somewhat cringe. Since if this is real, then did his presence here mess something up? Right now, him going to leave with the guards as Pyra does follow. And the group that is still there, they do stare on. Pyra turning and giving them a rude look before she does go to turn back. Her, right now, grabbing onto Deku's arm and clinging to him. As Deku does a turn and smile. Him asking her if she's alright. And she does just go to hold on a little tighter. As we do have in the throne room. People saw Deku being walked down the road by guards. And while it was assumed that something bad happened, there was whenever he finally arrived. And the king, he stood. He was happy to see this boy. And Deku, he does get to ask. Whenever the man, he does go to express. This matter is urgent. Deku's staring at the man. He's elvish, but he's older. I mean, his face has wrinkles. His hair is turning white. His eyes are a little sunken and dark, but incredible. He's aged. This catching him off guard a bit. He's an elf, but he's old. And the man does get a surprise on Deku's face. Before he does get a step forwards. He is Hamir. And this is of great urgency. Follow him. Deku going to bring his hands up. Wait. What is happening? It is a long story. I should start from the beginning. My great-grandfather. He's been alive for a long time. It was believed that he was cursed. No one knows what. He's been sworn to secrecy. For as long as he's been alive, he said when the time comes, he'll reveal what he knows. But I don't know what it is. Your arrival here woke him up. He knew who you were. He said, the hero is here. Bring him to me. He projected your image to my mind. Projected? Yes, projected. I ordered my guards to find you and bring you in without force. Listen, my great-grandfather has ancient knowledge. He's been alive far longer than an elf should be alive. Whatever he's been tasked to know, tasked to say to you, it may be his final act. So please, speak with him and release him from his curse. The man going to bow. And Deku does understand. Nodding as the man does begin to lead him away. His cape going to somewhat bellow as the crown on his head, it does stand out. Right now, it's shiny. It's made of some polished wood. It's one solid piece from what he could tell. And the red gems that are embedded in it, they do glow faintly. He's not sure if it's with magic, but that's what it seems like. And Deku, he does still feel a bit strange. Right now, he's walking through a palace in a tree. And that, it's quite the statement. It's a beautiful place. It's nice. The tree still lives, but they're careful with how they build. They're careful with what they do. And after walking for a few minutes, Deku, he does stand in a room. The king expressing, turning to Pyra and apologizing, since this is not a matter she may be able to hear. This is fate. Fate? I do not know. As long as I have been alive, it's what my father said. And my great-grandfather has outlived both them and his own son. I see. I understand. Deku stepping into the room, and the man, he does go to watch on. The door closing behind him as Deku does step in. The room glows. It's not dark, but it definitely does feel strange. a little cold. And the man who does get to sit there, he does get to turn his head. And Deku, he sees an ancient man, one who's older than anyone he's ever seen, even by human standards. And the man, he does sit there on his bed, him leaning against the headboard and asking exactly if he is the hero. Yes. Yes. Your voice. I've heard it. Seen it. I cannot get a good look at you. My eyes are not good. For my age. Deku's stepping forwards. And whenever he does get close enough to sit down, the man, he does stare directly at Deku, almost looking through him. Ah, I see. Your face is one of the many I've seen before. This troubles this old man. It doesn't? Your descendant said you had something to tell me? You summoned me here. Yes, I did. I have been alive for millennia. I have only been alive because of this curse. And finally, I will rest. There is much to say, much to tell you, but I fear death. As long as I've seen it, life has been an interesting one. Do you fear death, hero? I mean, I think everyone knows death will come one day. I don't exactly plan on it being anytime soon. But what do you mean? I'm sorry. Death. It is something that will claim us all, as you have said. But it is not something to fear. It is something to prepare for, to expect. And I feel my time drawing. With each word I do say, I can feel her frustration. What do you mean? Alino calls to me. Now these will be my final words. But I do have my own fear. I do not know what will happen to my body after death. No one knows. There have been many people who will come after elves who die. Old age is particularly strange. I have heard tales that my body will petrify. I will no longer remain. Hero, take me somewhere, please. I do not wish for my remains to be used in some odd way. Your family wouldn't do that to you. I know, but they would not be able to hide me. The information, the power of my old bones, they would draw any necromancer. If I petrify, then that would mean many problems. My power would fall into the wrong hands. I wish to see the sunset once before I pass. Once again. I understand. Deku turning his head, looking at the door, before he has to turn back to the old man. And the old man, he does go to turn his head and raise his hand towards the window, to which Deku does understand. And the man, yeah. If Deku is going to fulfill his final wish before he passes, he will fulfill it. Take him somewhere no one will find him. Take him somewhere far, And this, it does mean a bit. Deku does take the old man out the window, him flying up high into the air and finding a place on the tree. This thing is massive, it's huge. And from what Pyra told him during dinner, no one's allowed to climb up it. It's sacred. It's huge and massive. The only people allowed up here are ones who make sure the branches are healthy and clear. Make sure they won't fall and cause damage to the city below. It's quite a procedure. But Izuku, he does try to pay careful respects while he does find a place. And the two, they do sit there high above the city. Right now, Deku sitting on this branch. It's gotta be, what? About as long as a car? As wide as a car, at least. Maybe even a truck. And the old man, he does sit there, crossing his legs and looking out, staring out at the sun. And Izuku, he doesn't want to rush the man, but he needs to know what the heck he's here for. I mean, information millennia old, a curse, all that. Yeah, he'll give him a minute. And the old man, he does turn to finally look at Izuku. I have been alive for a very long time. Ever since I was a boy, I saw many things people could only imagine. I've seen a Tarrasque die. I've seen whatever create a race, their name so twisted in tongue that I cannot pronounce it. The feeling is still etched in my brain, but there is no word in Elvish for them. I remember watching them run, flee to another plane, be it the Fae, the Astral, or Shadowfall. I do not know. Whatever is out there, clearly it wishes to return one day. Does it? Yes, I believe so. I've seen a god die. I've seen a battle of titans. I've witnessed life. I've even met many of my descendants. It pleases me to know that this world is better than it was long before. Now, let me tell you. I was trusted with these words by Alino. One day when heroes do come, the world will change. Evil will rise and fall. The Oathbreaker, the Fallen, the Fool, the Lost, the Champion, the One of Ash and Sky, the Forsaken, the Tyrant, and the Friend. They will all play a role in what happens next. The heroes, they will win, or they will try and triumph. A hero will have a tragedy, and that is what I know. The day victory triumphs, that is what I was told. I do not know if it is a prophecy. I do not know what it is, but these words were trusted to me 10,000 years ago. The man gonna look up before expressing, and now he feels cold. Now it is odd. He can feel his mortality again. Deku turned to the man, wanting to ask him a question. However, the man, his head it does gonna slightly droop forwards. Him closing his eyes and basking in the light of the sun. As it does begin to go over the horizon. And the beautiful sunset in front of Deku, it was the last thing that man saw. He died in a hidden place. He died in the kingdom he loved, the kingdom he helped build, the kingdom he saw prosper down below. And it was such a beautiful place. And right now, he is free of a curse. And Deku, he does look at the man, his body beginning to petrify. The strange noise as magic begins to cover him, and his body turns to stone, just like the man said. This surprising him. And Izuku, he does get a stand. As right now there is where he doesn't feel a presence behind him. Him immediately gonna freeze as whenever he does use his magic, he does sense it behind him. A void. Something is there, shaped like a person. And it's sucking in magic. It terrifies him. And Deku is gonna finally hear a voice. Feminine, sweet, soft. I see that he has finally done it. Deku turning. Him caught off guard when he does see a dark elven woman. Her standing there in a white outfit. Her hair is long. She's beautiful. And she's not supposed to be here. He can't sense her magic. He can't sense her heartbeat. He can't even smell her, but he can see her. You are afraid. Who are you? I won't let you take his body. I'm not here for his body. He has done much to earn this rest. Her stepping forwards. And Deku does stare at the woman. Her going to express. She is simply here for his soul. She is here to carry it home. And Deku, he does stare at her, not believing her. Though he does feel his legs slightly shaking, as she does a stop in front of him and bring her hand up. Deku, seeing something begin to float past him, as it does take the shape of a young man. And it does begin to step towards her. Her bringing her hands up and touching the man's face, expressing, and it's been a long time. He's finally earned a place. Many people are waiting to see him. Is he ready to go see his father again? His family again? His love again? And the person's gonna nod. Deku's staring at that. Alarmed. Then be free. Her waving her hands as the man does get to disappear. And Deku, he does sense this spiritual energy disperse. And the woman does look back at him. And Izuku, he does recognize who this might be now. Who that is. And the woman does begin to step forwards, smiling, expressing to him. She is Alino. She is the goddess of death. And she was here to claim his soul. He has done much, and he has finally passed along the message to a hero. One prophesies to hear it. You're a god. Yes, I am. We're all watching and expecting great things of you, hero. You are? Yes. The four of you were chosen by Ritus. He does not make mistakes. In fact, it is quite good you are here. This world will come under fire, be in peril, and that will become problematic. You are here to save it. I don't know if I can. I mean, all this stuff I keep hearing, it's a lot of shoes to fill. Yes, I understand. That is why there's 4 of you. You are a hero. Raise people up. Bring them up. Nuva wanted me to tell you this. But stand together. Stand tall and do not stand alone. Though, Eris wants you to know, in war there are many things you will have to do. You will have to kill. You have to fight. You might even have to trick your enemies. But that is only half of war. The other half is peace. You may not always be fighting cursed creatures, hero, but know that they will rest. I will gather them. You are of kind heart, but that may be your undoing. Death chooses no favorites. Is that true? Her nodding, and her face does go a little sour, but it does return to somber. I am unable to choose a champion. There are those who perverse what I do. Necromancy. And this is a vile art. But there is much still to come. You need to know, death is not evil, Izuku. Killing is not evil. Spread word to the other heroes. Let them know. Sometimes good people have to do bad things, but that does not make them evil. Just as peaceful, kind, honorable actions does not make evil good. It may be a means to an end, but there is still hope for it. There is good in evil, and there is evil in good. Do you understand? Deku nodding his head. And the woman, she does go to turn, expressing how a long time for this meeting. And this is all she does say. Deku watching as she has begun to disappear, her fading into smoke as he does still stare on, just alarmed. He met the goddess of death. She stood before him. That's insane. He talked to a god on the material plane. And this, it does fill Deku with a lot of strange emotions. But that prophecy, the fallen, the lost, the oathbreaker, the fool, the champion, the forsaken, the friend, all these things confusing him. And Deku, he does it'll fly back down. Though the king of the elves, he's not happy. Whenever he does discover his great-grandfather is gone, he's mad. However, Deku, whenever he does tell the man what he did, the man does go to calm down a bit more. The man told him of a prophecy, and he put him somewhere where he can rest, somewhere no one will ever know. Along with that, he spoke to someone concerning. And the man, he wasn't that impressed. 2 people know the locations of his great-grandfather's remains. That means 2 people may be in charge of taking his remains, and he is not happy. Though Deku, he does tell the man. The other person he met wasn't of the material plane. He met Alino. She showed up to take his great-grandfather to the afterlife. And they spoke. And many people in that room, they fall silent. And the man just stared Deku down. Unsure if that is true, but with the look in Deku's eyes, it is true. And the man, he does go to dismiss Izuku. He's not happy about this, but the fact that his great-grandfather's final wish was at least honored, that does provide him comfort. No one knows where he will be, where he does lie, and that, it does annoy him. Though Izuku, he does tell the men that he honored his great-grandfather's last request. And this, it does provide him with some comfort. Though he would have liked to be able to put him down to rest. Though Izuku does tell the man that that petrification thing is real. And the man, he does understand after that. Aware of the danger it would cause if anyone knew his location. Now, with that being said, Deku and Pyra, the two do leave the palace. And it has certainly been a very interesting day. A very interesting date. They had their fun in the city. They walked around, explored the shops, had dinner, and Deku pissed off a king. He even fought some old friends of hers and showed them up. And that, it was probably the greatest thing she saw. It brought a smile to her face and made her happy. Though Pyra does suggest that they stop at an inn, since if they go back tomorrow morning, it would probably be easier on everybody, especially considering. And Izuku, he does understand. Checking in, and the two going to rest. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.